Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochnick here from Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick, here to talk to you about a series of things, but the most important thing, we have an ICC T20 World Cup that's well underway. The qualifier stage is just about wrapped up. 3 of the 4 sides are confirmed. That is Scotland, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. We only have to work through Ireland versus Namibia now to really confirm who will in fact be in the final 4 that qualify through to the Super 12, which will literally start tomorrow. So the Super 12 is starting tomorrow, and that, of course, creates a lot of interest. So it's all about the effect that we've got Erasmus and Green in at the moment for Namibia. They're 1 for 48, chasing a total that is quite gettable, to be honest. They're chasing a total which is 125 for 8 wickets, so that's somewhat of a gettable total, you would argue. 1 for 49 off just on 10 overs, so they've almost reached the halfway point, and they have not yet. Well, they've only lost 1 wicket, so yeah, we haven't got a lot to talk about there, other than the fact that this could get very close, and it is effectively going to decide the top 4 placings, 2 in each group, and that will reflect the points table. And the points table at the moment with Group A, well, Sri Lanka still have to play the Netherlands next match, but that's fait accompli that even if Sri Lanka lose, they still go through. And it won't even decide whether they'll finish first or not. They're finishing first in Group A. They're going to be A1 on the listing, and either Ireland or Namibia will be A2 on that listing. With Scotland, clearly their part of the group stage is finished. They are B1 and Bangladesh is B2. Oman and Papua New Guinea both miss out. Netherlands are already out as well, so it's only really between Ireland and Namibia who will actually go through to the placement of Group A as A2, and that will affect who they play later on. Effectively, both Ireland and Scotland look like they may be in the same group with, I believe it might be England. We'll just confirm that a bit later, but it will be interesting to see what develops there. So there is a grouping of 1 and 2 as well as the A and B we have just had for the qualifiers. So in Group 1 we have England, Australia, South Africa and West Indies. In Group 2 we have Afghanistan, Pakistan, India and New Zealand. So those 2 groups will be joined by the further 2 teams, and that'll help decide what we're going to be against in this particular tournament. So let's have a look here. Not an overwhelmingly exciting evening, although, realistically, we're getting very excited about the situation which will be happening on Sunday, which will be India versus Pakistan. Of course, tomorrow's match is Australia versus South Africa, and then followed by the West Indies versus England. Hello, Prabhajan. How are you? So, yeah, effectively, we've got tomorrow Australia versus South Africa first, then followed by the West Indies versus, it's a double header, that's correct, on Saturday. Both days are double headers, and that's good to see. I think the IPL should take a leaf out of the book and have more double headers as well. So yeah, tomorrow will be Australia versus South Africa in the Super 12 stage. Currently there are 8 sides with a further 4 to be added, which we've talked about already. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Scotland potentially join then. Well, those 3 are definitely going to join. Then you'll have either Namibia, who are 1 for 49 at the moment, chasing a total of 125 for 8 off Ireland. So Namibia might shock us all. And Namibia, you could argue, is winning. It's a loose term, winning. They're certainly in a good position. Yeah, so that will be very interesting to see what happens there. And that will actually help determine the group stages. So yeah, At this stage, Sri Lanka are A1 and Ireland are A2. Scotland are B1 and B2 is actually Bangladesh. But Ireland has to maintain a victory over the one and only Namibia. Very interesting to see what happens here. It would be a bit of a shock if Ireland miss out, but Namibia have actually played pretty well. They've defeated both, they've defeated and Netherlands at the moment. They both lost to Sri Lanka, but yeah, so the stage is set now for. They require a run rate of 7.73. Now that's a big ask, but it's all up to Ireland's bowling, how well they go. Probably chances it's shocking. I'm not sure what's shocking. Yeah, it would be. I mean, if Namibia go through, I'll tell you what, Namibia go through and then having to play South Africa, that's going to be interesting. You would assume South Africa wouldn't win that, but at the moment, I'm not betting on anything. I mean, really, the South African side without. We'll talk about individual sides in a minute. The fact that South Africa without Faf du Plessis and without the likes of A.B. de Villiers is beyond me. Beyond me, it's quite a shock, really. It's just doesn't make much sense, to be very honest. How the hell we've got our no-name person there, and it's good. Namibia now 1 for 51. They're into the 11th over. They have to get their act together to get into that total, but they're in a good position. They've lost 1 wicket, so they're not just battling against anything. So there are other breaking news, which has just occurred too, is that India and England, the 5th test that was neither postponed, neither cancelled, but it's been now confirmed as being played, and that Ulma Devi, hello. I'll just clarify what has actually been said in a media release that I've just received, Very also just received from the ECB, the English chairman of the board, England Cricket Board. Okay, this is the following statement been released a matter of minutes ago. England and India meant to conclude the LV Insurance Test Series next year, which is what we kind of thought was happening. The 5th test of the Test Series between England men and Indian men have been rescheduled and will now take place in July 2022. In fact, I believe it's the 1st of July 2022. The match, which was due to take place last month at Emirates Old Trafford, was called off when India were unable to field the team due to the fears of a further increase in the number of COVID-19 cases inside their camp. With India leading the series 2-1, which they should really be classified as a winner, the concluding 5th match will now take place from July 1, 2022 at Edgbaston, as opposed to Old Trafford has now been moved to Edgbaston, following an agreement between the ECB and the Border Control BCCI. Due to the complexities in the schedule, the fixture could not be slated or staged at the Emirates Old Trafford, which is where they were meant to be playing, owing to clashes with pre-planned events at that venue, which will leave insufficient time to prepare a test pitch. Instead, Emirates Old Trafford will now host the 2nd test between South Africa and England. That's next summer, starting on August 25th, which is further down the track. This match will previously due to take place at Edgbaston, now is taking place at Old Trafford. So given the rescheduling of the 5th test, the Vitality IT series has also moved around. So effectively, the main news there is that England will play India on the 1st to the 5th of July, 2022 at the ground of Edgbaston as opposed to Old Trafford. So that's the update. I don't buy Finch's statement of a pandemic hindering with their plan. If anything should have helped them, as in case of reality. Yeah, look, the lack of cohesion, the lack of commitment to the team. I've got some. I mean, I'm very damning of Dave Warner. He's been out of form for some time, and the whole mental state of the players such as him. And you have to include Aaron Finch, even though he has been put down by injury, is quite concerning. The bowling lineups, another here to there. But Josh Hazlewood was somewhat of a shining light, having played for Chennai Super Kings. Glenn Maxwell's been superb. So Stoinis has been pretty good too. Steve has played steadily in the warm-up match just the other day, but against India. But India smacked them. India smacked Australia. So Australia going into the South African match, both teams are rather low. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But Australia, my God, they really look still pretty ordinary. You know, that Mitchell Marsh's first drop, I don't quite get that. I'm not behind that decision. I find that it should be left in the middle order, no matter how well he seems to be batting. How many teams get the slot Super 12 from group stages? How many teams get the slot? What do you mean, Sam? Well, as I said to you, we have, at this stage, we have Group A is, sorry, not Group A, Group 1 is England, Australia, South Africa, and West Indies. And Group 2, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and New Zealand. So let's just conclude that for a minute. Let's have a look there. We can work this one out because there's a way of the T20 website let us know what's going on there. Let's have a look here. All right, so the Super 12s have 6 teams in each group, Group 1 and Group 2. Effectively, let's have a look at the fixtures. So, all right, so in A1, sorry, okay. Bangladesh. Okay, so Bangladesh are effectively, Bangladesh at this point are B2. So A1 plays B2, for example, and that's going to be, this is Barnstead boys here.
Hey, Norman, how are you?
Good, how are you, Mr. Richard Vernon?
I'm excellent. It's been a long time. Is it well? Are you well?
It certainly has. I've just begun to talk about the situation that there's a chance Namibia might beat Ireland.
Really? Wow.
Well,
they won the other day, didn't they? Namibia won the first game ever, I think, in the World Cup.
Well, Namibia, if they win this match, they make the Super 12.
Excellent. That'll give Australia a chance to win a game, won't it?
Well, yeah, they're not doing very well otherwise. Just before we get into the banter side, I'm just going through the breakdown of group. You're obviously in Santorini, is it?
I am. Welcome to sunny Greece.
Sunny Greece. Well, it's sunny Australia now too, by the way. But not we're actually free. We're out of lockdown. In fact, November 1st, we can travel overseas without even a quarantine on return, would you believe? At least New South Wales, no other location. So I will be hopefully going to the UAE. We'll wait and see. All right, let's get back to this first. First round. So Group 1, which I was talking about, Group 1 is England, Australia, South Africa, West Indies. Okay. And Group 2 is Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and New Zealand. But there'll be 2 teams joining each group.
Yeah.
So far, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Scotland are 3 of the 4. And we're waiting on the Ireland-Namibia match because the winner of that match will be second in their group. They'll be effectively H. I'm just trying to confirm what's going on.
Well, England have rather fallen on their feet, haven't they, with that group? Because if the wickets are going to play a bit low and slow, they're up against sides who will equally not like those wickets, the same as England won't. You don't really want to be in with Afghanistan, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, really, do you?
No. The group of, well, I wouldn't call it group of, Parajan's asking where you are. He's in Mykonos, Greece.
No, I'm in Santorini. Sorry, Santorini.
Santorini. I apologize. I didn't mean to say Santorini.
Very beautiful place. My hotel overlooks a mountain. I'm going to see if we can show it to you. Norman, does that come out?
Yeah, I can see that.
That is a pretty spectacular view, isn't it?
It certainly is.
It's
very nice.
Yeah.
We'll get more into the views a bit later.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Norman.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm just trying to work out who goes into what group. I'm just trying to work out who goes in what group.
I've got a gut feeling that Scotland's go not into England's group. I would have.
No. Actually, no. It's not the case. Well, hang on. Let me have a Group 1. No, actually, they don't. Group 1.
England are going to get Bangladesh.
Is A1, which A1 will be actually Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And B2 is Bangladesh. So Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are going through to that group.
they're going to cause some sides some problems. They really are.
Who? Sri Lanka and Bangladesh?
Yeah. One, they've got a great advantage. They would have played 3 games already, and you can't beat a bit of practice, Norman. And practice games aren't the same as playing in the real match.
But Scotland beat
Bangladesh, didn't they?
Bangladesh. Okay. So let's just quickly go through that. Group 1, I now can work that out for you. Group 1 is England, Australia, South Africa, and West Indies, but also included in that is Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. They've also gone through that group. That makes that group bloody hard.
I think it's going to... I cannot see Sri Lanka and Bangladesh not winning a game.
Okay, but it still tells you that England and I would say the West Indies are the 2 favourites.
I can't see the West Indies bowlers on those pitches doing much. I just think that we've disagreed for a while on this, Norman, haven't we, about the West Indies? I don't think they will.
The reality is, I'm favouring England and West Indies. You're favouring England and who?
I'm not favouring England, to be fair. I think England have got to hit the ground running. I think they're going to struggle. I think it's going to be hard. I would always back the Aussies because they always come to the party. And I know they're not playing well, and I know they're struggling. But
they got tailed up by India with incredible ease. It was actually embarrassing. Dave Warner failed again.
Yes, they've got a problem with Warner, haven't they? A little bit, because I don't think it's all about cricket there anymore, is it? Norman is well,
no, it's not. He's been dropped twice by the Sunrise Hyderabad over the IPL season.
And I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes with David Warner. I don't know what it is. You'd know more than me. I think that.
I reckon they might even. You know what? If they were sensible, they would leave Warner out and put Josh Inglis in, who was a gun player.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get back to the group. So Scotland. Sorry.
Yeah.
England, Australia
do well.
Hang on.
Sorry,
So Group 1 will be England, Australia, South Africa, West Indies, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. That makes that a monumental group.
And how many go through? Sorry, Norman. How many go through from the group? How many go through?
Two.
Only 2. Oh wow! So it's only 2 of those. Crumbs, Norman. That's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
England are going to have to make sure they really, really hit the ground running on that.
Yeah. Then you've got Group 2, which is Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and New Zealand. Now Scotland have joined. That group.
Scotland.
So really, India's a mile ahead of that group.
Yeah.
And you would argue either Pakistan or New Zealand is the second at this point.
Yeah.
So Scotland's joining the group, and we don't know yet whether it's going to be Ireland or Namibia.
Well, neither will do any good. Neither.
So that Group 1, so Group 2 is a really weak group, isn't it, comparatively?
Well, I think that the 2 who are going in are whipping boys, but I don't think the 2 are going into England's group are. I don't think Bangladesh or Sri Lanka are whipping boys at all. I think there'll be a real test for whoever plays them, because their bowlers on those wickets are going to cause some real problems.
Sri Lanka haven't looked too bad, actually. They haven't looked too bad at all.
No, that's good. I'm pleased about that. I like Sri Lanka. World cricket needs Sri Lanka.
I'll tell you what, Namibia need 59 runs or 43 balls, and they've only lost 1 wicket.
David Weiss is playing for them, isn't he? He's a decent player. He plays in English county cricket, I think. I think he's solid player.
But that's Namibia. Ireland are 8 for 125, which is a pretty ordinary score, really, in such an important match. And Namibia are 1 for 67. If they keep going this way, they've got plenty of batters to unleash some strike power. Haven't they? Really, it's quite you would argue, a disturbing. So Namibia could be in with Scotland in Group 2.
Yeah, I think New Zealand have got their work cut out. I think they will be. I don't think they'll believe that they could have got in a group with Afghanistan, India, and Pakistan. I think they'll be gutted, New Zealand. Absolutely gutted.
Look, realistically, on paper, I would say India and Pakistan are going to go through.
Yeah, I fancy Pakistan, Norman. You know, I've been saying this to you for months, haven't I? I really do think they'll come to the party, Pakistan, out on those wickets. I really
Did you see that Afghanistan beat West Indies too, by the way?
Yeah, I did. They chased the low score, didn't they? Yeah, it's Norman, you know as well as I do, the conditions are paramount. If this had been the T20 in Australia, we'd be having a different conversation, wouldn't we?
Maybe, but look, Norgay for South Africa bowled well in the IPL on these conditions, so we can't discount bowlers who are fast. In the case of Australia, Hazel didn't do too badly. Stark was average, you would argue. Pat Cummins is always good, but Australia's batting is the problem. Other than Maxwell and maybe some steadiness from C. Smith, they're in some deep trouble. Aaron Finch has been injured for quite a while, only coming back now without any true practice. Gagan Tunwa was saying, Norman, do you think Lyon probably should have gone on that sort of Agar? Well, look, the only redeeming factor of Australia's bowling is, in fact, Zampa's bowling. Agar's steady, but Lyon might have been of some use, perhaps, yes. Perhaps you're right.
He's a quality player, but they're not playing him. They're going with the young guns, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, Nathan Lyons has been off in terms of the short version. I don't really understand why. But, okay, so again, Group 1 will be England, Australia, South Africa, West Indies, joined by Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, which, what a group. And Group 2, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, New Zealand, Scotland.
And Namibia Island,
Well, Namibia at the moment look like this. Well, you can't say they're specials, but they've gone 12 overs now. They need 62 or 47, 61 or 47. So there was a good over just then.
But you've got to fancy a side chasing with 9 wickets. It's about wickets in hand, Norman.
Yeah. It's funny, the second match, they don't talk about in the second match. In the first match, they announced who was batting, who won the toss batting early. But in the case of Netherlands and Sri Lanka, they haven't done it quite yet.
It's a dead rubber, isn't it? It's a dead rubber game. You might find Sri Lanka might play a couple of
Sri Lanka are true, and that's true. Sri Lanka's true, and Netherlands are gone big time. Netherlands have been very disappointing, actually.
A couple of their fringe players just to get them a bit of experience. That's what I'd do. It's a squad game, as you know, these days more than it ever was in the past. You want to have people firing and fit, and with a bit of match time under their belts. I have a feeling that South Africa might not be as bad as everyone says, Norman. As you say, Nokia plays well, Rabada plays well.
No Faf du Plessis, who basically plays as player of the match in the final for CSK. That's just madness. No AB de Villiers. Are you kidding me? No.
Well, they're both retired, aren't they? But they're both retired. It's not they've not been picked. Am I right now?
No. Du Plessis was available. So was AB de Villiers.
I thought he'd announced his retirement.
No.
So they have got one world star, though, Norman, up and coming. I think Rassie van der Dussen is a really good player. Do you know Rassie van der Dussen?
Yeah, but that's not enough.
No,
Quentin de Kock.
Yeah, de Kock, he's been out of touch a little bit, I think.
Well, he got dropped by Mumbai Indians.
Yeah. It was a tough tournament for some players, wasn't it? None of the English players did particularly well. De Kock didn't do well. Only Maxwell did anything, I think. The Aussies were steady, but they didn't set the world alight, did they?
No, but look at old Maxwell.
I think Moeen Ali's actually. Do you know what, Norman? Moeen Ali looks like he's enjoying his cricket at the moment, doesn't he?
Oh, he's playing sensationally.
And he had a good end to the IPL, didn't he? So,
of course, he batted well and CSK won.
England's middle order. Do you know, I was going to say to you, Norman, England have got a real problem, haven't they? Because their talismanic leader, Owen Morgan, shouldn't be in the side. He's got absolutely 0 runs in his last 20 innings or something. And we've got far better players at the moment who could play. England has sport embarrassment of riches, really, in that middle order. But Morgan's very much Captain Fantastic as far as we see him over here.
Yeah, but I mean, you could say something about Aaron Finch as for Australia. Or you could say the same thing about Virat Kohli.
I could.
There's a few teams actually where
I wouldn't pick Kohli. I think India have got in 2020 format, and I know they're not going to like me saying this, but they've got better players. I think who could come in and smack it all over the place. Is Privy Shaw getting a game?
But he won't be dropped.
Shaka Dhawan, Samson, Sky.
Shaka Dhawan's not in the squad. Is he in the squad? I'm not sure whether he's in the squad.
He's a gun bat. in this
I know.
Absolute gun.
So Namibia are somewhat faltering. They're slowing up a bit. They've lost a wicket. They're 2 for 77. They need 49 runs off 36 balls. Not impossible, but starting to get a bit beyond them.
Norman, it's the pressure of the moment, isn't it? The pressure of making history. It's not a game of cricket anymore. It's got they can see the prize, and when you can see the prize, sometimes that puts so much on you, doesn't it? It's like when you're nearing 100. You wouldn't know, Norman. When you're nearing 100, you get that sort of pressure on you as well. Or when you're nearing taking 5, you wouldn't know about 5 wickets. Sorry, I'm talking out something you don't know about, Norman.
Now listen, left field. There's the Valletta Cup, which must be played in Malta, between Bulgaria and Switzerland. It's funny.
But isn't it great that they're playing? I mean, Bulgaria and Switzerland are playing cricket. That's got to be good.
It's called the Valletta Cup. And you should be able to see it. If you look out the window from Santorini, you should be able to see Malta over there. Get your binoculars out. Malta's not that far away. Close to the most.
I haven't told my missus I'm coming on. She's probably glaring at me from down by the pool.
Have you been to Malta?
No, I haven't been to Malta. It's supposed to be
love Malta. Malta's beautiful. Lots of beautiful beaches, but also history.
Yeah.
Probably the most invaded place in Europe.
So the games start tomorrow, Norman. Is that right? The main games? I know England plays
the so-called Super 12 starts tomorrow. Australia plays South Africa first.
Oh, wow.
Which is 9 o'clock my time. It'll be 11 a.m. your time. Okay. I'm starting a broadcast at 7:30 my time, which will be 8:30 your time.
From the UK, so 10:30 UK time. 10:30 here. We're 2 hours on from the UK here. I'm 4 o'clock.
If you're up to 10:30 tomorrow, then that's followed by England versus the West Indies. Then the next day you've got Sri Lanka versus, I think, Bangladesh.
England
and then you've got the big one, India versus Pakistan. Okay. Oh my God.
Oh wow. I think I'm going to make a prediction now, Norman. I think that's going to be your final. I think
I have a feeling you're right.
The final of the World T20 will be India-Pakistan. And I think England will struggle to get out of their group. I think everyone's going to struggle to get out of that Group B. I think it's going to be going into the last round of matches, and it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be clear cut at all. Because I can see a lot of sides
2 for 85. They're going to get 41 off 34 balls. There must have been a couple of 6s or 4s just then. Anyway, so Suman Awashi's talking about the Glazer family, owner of Man U, are looking to buy an IPL team. Oh, okay. No team looking strong. Oh, well, that'll be a bit far. Well, let's not worry about that at the moment. Let's not look at IPL.
There's going to be 10 sides next year.
The 2 for 91 now. Do the 2 for 91, 35 or 33 balls. They're closing the gap.
Who are not out batsmen?
Who are not out batsmen? I'll have a look.
I haven't got it. I'm on my mobile. I'm ever so sorry. I can't.
That's all right. David Weiss is not out 16 off 5. Hang on. David Weiss is 16 off 5 balls.
Yeah, he's a proper player, Norman.
2 of them are 6s.
Yeah, he's a proper player. I forget who he plays for. It might be Northants, but he's a solid.
He's hit 2 6s.
Yeah,
and
first class player.
Gerhard Erasmus is 32 off 34 balls. So they got 2 pretty informed players right there. Curtis Kumpfer, the guy that got the 4 for, he's got 2 for 8 off his 2 overs.
4 balls, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's like some doing, Norman. Have you ever done that with your little slow donkey drop?
No. No, maybe my imagination I have, but that's little. So David Weiss, 17 runs off 6 balls.
He's
obviously
be a hero. National hero.
Well, he's in the position to be. He's in position to do it.
I've been to the capital of Namibia, Norman. I've been to Windhoek. It's beautiful town, built by the Germans. So it's all classic.
Yeah, it was a German colony, isn't it?
It was, and all the buildings are not like you'd consider Africa at all. It's It's beautiful architecture. You don't think you're in Africa at all when you're in Namibia.
How many countries have you been to?
A few. I don't know. I'm not counted.
Well, count them. I count them. I've been to 103.
Oh God, I've nothing. I did a little bit of work out in Africa. We went to Namibia, Zambia, Tanzania, as they call it out there, and then down to Joburg and Cape Town. So I did a little bit of travelling around that part of the world.
Well, I've been to Zambia and South Africa, but I haven't been to Tanzania, as you put it, and Namibia.
We call
it unless India wants to throw away the game, India was solid. India, look, my God, if India, even though it was a warm-up match, India were in cruise control against Australia. They were in absolute cruise control.
And look,
I don't care. I don't care if it was a warm-up match. Australia beaten that convincingly by India. The way that it happened shows something pretty bad, I'll tell you.
Yeah. It's coming down to the pitches, Norman, isn't it? Don't you think it's going to come down to how long the pitches can last? Because they've just had 9
they're all going to break up. They're all going to break up.
They're going to get lower and slower, aren't they? They might start.
Yeah, they're going to be. I mean, Ashwin took the first 2 wickets playing against Australia. He got Warner and Mitchell Marsh. Mitchell Marsh got out first ball. He's batting first drop and he got out first ball. That's not a good sign, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I fear for the Aussies a little bit, Norman, but as I say,
I've got no sympathy for them. If they're unfortunately they've imploded and they need to go through some hurt. They need to go through some hurt.
I've watched a lot of cricket over my life, and every tournament comes around and Aussies do well, and I would expect them to go well.
Australia have never won a T20 tournament, a World Cup.
No, but they're always there or thereabouts, aren't they? They're one of the great. They're the great side. I don't think even India can claim to be as great as Australia in tournament cricket over the decades. Australia are the side, aren't they?
Oh, look, I don't deny that, but I think that there's going to be some. Even the Australians themselves say they haven't got much of a chance. They really, and they're not playing themselves out. They're being somewhat realistic. But Glenn Maxwell's saying, "I'm just going to go out there and have a bit of fun." So
yeah, he's in form, Glenn Maxwell, but I'm not a massive fan of him. I think he likes the sound of his own voice too much and his own kind.
Bahram Irani's announcing that what I've already said, that the 5th test, by the way, is on the 1st of July to the 5th of July. It's been confirmed.
And is that still in the series that we played?
Yep.
Okay, we won't give my thoughts on that, Norman. We'll pass over back to the World 2020.
No, but hang about just 1 second. That game's being played on the 1st to the 5th of July.
Yeah,
it's at Edgbaston as opposed to Old Trafford.
Yeah, so Old Trafford lose all that money. Crikey, they'll be compensated, I guess, by the ECB.
But I do think this is a Bahram Karani made a great comment there. Patali Trophy, 5 tests over 10 months. Okay.
Hi, Bahram. I've been watching a few of your recent episodes, Norman. I've missed quite a bit, unfortunately. I've been away.
That's all right. That's plenty more to go.
Yeah. I'm travelling back Sunday, by the way. I'll be back. I'm back home Sunday. So.
Yeah, Bahram Irani's telling me something that I already know, Bahram. I already know that there's been a cancellation. The announcement. I'm right on the number there. So okay.
What's your prediction?
294. They're going to get 32 off 29 balls. This is going to be a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah. And who's your predictions, Norman? Who do you think? What's your predictions for the last 4 then? The two from each group.
Well, I've said from the start, England and India will top both of their groups. That's my thoughts. Hang on. Let me finish. England and India and West Indies. And I thought the 4th place will be Pakistan or New Zealand, but I'm saying Pakistan. So I'm going to say India, Pakistan, England, and West Indies. If Australia get through, I'll be shocked, and if South Africa get through, I'm shocked. Okay, that's the only other possibility.
Yeah.
But considering who's in that group, are you suggesting for a minute that England won't go through the final 4?
I'm suggesting that any one of those 6 sides in that group are going to be in with a shout going into the last round of matches, which is unusual, as you know. There's normally sides are out of it by then, isn't there? I will be very surprised if all those 6 teams don't win at least 1 game or 2 games each. So that means that it's going to be a very close group. Whereas in the India group, I think India will go unbeaten. Well, they might not. I mean, 2020 is a difficult game to predict, isn't it? but I wouldn't be surprised if India race away with it, and Scotland and Namibia or Ireland are the whipping boys and lose every game. Whereas I don't think that's going to be with Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. I don't think they'll lose every game. I think they're going to be causing some headaches to a lot of sides.
Well, the lower they get, you're right. So the 2 for 96 after, they've got 30 runs to get off 27 balls. It's doable. Yeah. If David Weiss hits 2 sixes, they'll quickly eradicate that lead. Put it that way.
It's Ireland will be very good, though, isn't it, Norman? We need to see this. I know that the 50 over World Cup, they trying to get lesser sides in because they want it to tournament to be a bit quicker. But when you see Namibia's and Scotland's and Ireland's being competitive, they need to be given a showcase. But this is a good way of doing it, by the way. Having a little pre-tournament just before the tournament.
That's brilliant.
It's a great way of
showcasing brilliant because it's great that they're in form. I mean, but then again, Papua New Guinea played well. Oman played well.
Yeah.
Really, Oman. I was there where it's still coached by good old Dulip Mendes. But I was there. I was there when they had their first grass laid. Yeah. It was only a few years ago. They had no grass in the whole country.
A mate of mine, I used to play cricket with, an Aussie guy. He went out to Hong Kong for the Hong Kong Sixes. This is going back 30 years, Norman. And he had to paint the grass. They had to paint the grass green because they had no green grass at the time to play the cricket on, and it was going to be on TV. So they had to paint the grass to make it look like a cricket pitch.
Well, when the grass was laid, the players were there, the Oman squad. They lied on the grass like they were swimming. It was hilarious. Okay, so hang on. After 16 overs, Namibia are 2 for 100. They need 26 and 4 overs. That's very
very
should
gettable. Be a cakewalk. That should be a cakewalk. You see, Ireland.
Well, the fact that they've got 8 wickets in hand, they can really go for it, can't they?
They'll be so disappointed.
There's no need. They can really go for it. I don't know what the comparatives were at the same stage, but they need a required run rate of 6.5, which is not difficult, but in most cases.
Yes, run a ball in 2020 cricket normally is a cakewalk, isn't it?
Well, they're talking about win probability. Now, maybe a 97%, Ireland 3. That's pretty conclusive. All right, so what this means, as I said, we'll have in Group 1, we'll have England, West Indies, Australia, South Africa, joined by Sri Lanka and Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Very strong 6.
Yeah.
And Group 2, again, will be Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and New Zealand, joined by Scotland and what looks like, at this point, Namibia.
Yeah, well, I cannot see past the top 3 names you read out there for that group. I can't just see past. I don't think New Zealand, I think they'll struggle. I think in those conditions.
Well, Sri Lanka are playing, as I said, as I said, the first 4 matches are pretty notable, actually. Australia versus South Africa. That's going to put one of those 2 teams on a bad start and probably go out. The Australia, whoever loses between Australia and South Africa are out, I'm afraid, because...
Do you think?
Yeah, because they've got to play England, they've got to play... No, they're going to play too many teams that can still... If you lose more than 2 matches, 2 or more matches, you're out. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would be more than 2 going throughout 6. So it really is a quick tournament, isn't it? It's really in and out there.
Yeah, it is.
I honestly think, Norman, that in that group there will be sides will win win 2 games. I can see Bangladesh winning a couple of games. I can see Sri Lanka winning a couple of games, which means it's going to be a really tight group.
Well, if those 2 teams win a couple of games, Australia and South Africa aren't going to make it.
Well, I think it's going to be tight, Norman. I really do. Who? I'll tell you what. If you've got,
just
do you know who's playing last?
England towed up New Zealand pretty badly. Yeah. Okay, that's not warm-up form. That's not warm-up form. That's real form. Okay.
Yeah, Moeen had a good game, didn't he? Like Moeen.
Yeah, but England. What do you think of David Willey? They interviewed him the other day. They seem to be edging towards him being.
Are they? Well, he gives the option of left arm, doesn't he? And I like an option of left arm. And I've got to tell you, I know that a lot of the viewers and listeners won't have seen him bat a bit, but boy, can David Willey whack a cricket ball. He is a serious lower order batter. He's no mug at all.
I have to. Bram's right. We talked about who would make the 4. My out of this group, and I did say, and so did Bram. We talked about it together. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, we predicted. Scotland, we predicted, but we actually did talk about Namibia, and we thought they were in with a chance, and it's proven bloody well right.
Yeah, you are a guru, Norman. You are a cricket guru.
Well, I did predict David wanted to get out 3rd ball for a duck, and he did. Remember?
And Rohit Sharma, you predicted 147.
Well, that's a given. That's a given. That was one of the best predictions on Earth. So we're now almost. Well, they've got 3 overs, 1 ball, and they've got 19 runs to get.
Oh, so I've had a quietish over. Oh, they're still on 6 over, run a ball, aren't they? They've done it. They're knocking it around. They're doing what I would
David Weiss,
Norman.
David Weiss' strike rate is 209. Erasmus is 88, so he's a bit below 100, but he's a steady influence. He's on 37. So I did hear Rise saying that World Cup is between India and West Indies. Don't forget.
Rubbish.
Okay. Have you forgotten who won the last World Cup?
Yeah, where was it?
They beat England.
Where? Where was it?
I've forgotten where. What was it again?
It wasn't in the subcontinent, that's for sure.
Yeah.
West Indies have got 0 chance. They've got absolutely no chance. You just mark my words.
So they're 21 runs off 3 overs.
All these fast bowlers the West Indies have got bowling on those low, slow pitches are going to absolutely get pummeled. That's what I predict. And
so this Curtis Campher he's only got 1 over left. He's been the most economical. Josh Little's just finished. He's bowling pretty economically as well.
He bowls little dibby-dobby stuff, doesn't he, Curtis Campher? Am I right?
Yeah.
Does he bowl just a little, like you bowl, Norman? That little help yourself to bowling.
Yeah, you're all over. But Baram's talking about Australia, West Indies, India, and New Zealand. He's not including England, which I don't believe. I think that's not right. England
will lose to Pakistan in the semi-final, I would predict. And India will beat either Australia or maybe Sri Lanka in the other semi. There you go.
Okay, well,
that's right.
I'm not exactly sure how. I still maintain India, England, West Indies with probably Pakistan the 4th. Now that's still my go.
Let me give you my prediction of the only way I think England can win it, Norman. I've been thinking about this while I've been sitting on my sunbed. I think that Roy and Butler needs to be getting us off to a massive start in the first 6 overs. If England can starts.
But you've also got Bairstow's been opening up a lot as well.
Norman, don't start me. How can he not be opening the batting? He's quality.
Well, I know, but maybe they're just testing things out. But they've got
batting him down at 5 or 6, aren't they? What a waste. He's such a good player at the top.
Someone's oh my God. Someone's just hit Erasmus just hit a 6.
Oh, it's game over.
So they've got to get 13 off 16 balls now.
That is history in the making. What
a boil over. What a boil over. Ireland are going to be very embarrassed because they were almost predicted as being a certainty to go through.
Can I love you and leave you before I get in big trouble, Norman? I didn't want to not come on and say hi to everyone and disappoint you because I said I would come on, didn't I? So yeah, I've got a missus down by the swimming pool who keeps looking up at me, and she's an angry woman anyway.
Angry.
Angry.
All right, so quickly, who's going to win? Okay, you're going to come on tomorrow. Or you're not coming on tomorrow.
Let me see what I'm doing tomorrow, but I might be able to come on a bit just for 15-20 minutes if that's okay.
Okay.
Is that going to be all right? If you, yeah, we can talk about it more. But I predict an India-Pakistan final. There we go. And what a game! What a game!
So say that again. I lost it. What did you say?
India-Pakistan final, Norman. I predict, and what a mouth-watering game for cricket that would be. Wow!
Wow! It's huge.
Oh God, it would be awesome, wouldn't it?
But you know what? You know what? We are forgetting about Afghanistan. We are not talking about Afghanistan. They were none for 100 after 10 overs.
They're a good side. I said, when you said that group, I said the first three. Wasn't that India, Pakistan, Afghanistan? They're the three you mentioned first, I think.
Yeah.
I think they'll be the sides. I really do.
11 off 15 balls.
No, it's game over.
You'd think with 8 wickets in hand, they can just go nuts.
If it were me or you, Norman, batting there now, we're batting together in that situation. We'd be saying, push it around. I'd be saying, no, just look for little singles or just push it around.
But they're not going to push it around.
I would. I would be taking.
I reckon Weiss and Rasmus will get it next 2 balls. They're very keen to hit sixes.
But I'm gonna say goodbye, Norman. Thanks for having me on.
You sure you don't want to wait a couple more balls to hit victory?
Okay. Yeah, okay. I can. Yeah.
You can't go. I mean, Ireland's your sister country, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel a little bit sorry for Ireland when they could have come onto the international stage and be given better status.
They're a bit test team.
But they're aging. They're an aging side now. They've still got in, a few of their old guys, and of course, they can't go on forever. And you've got to start bringing players through. So
9 off 2 overs.
And Vice is still in, Dave.
Hang on. Is this a short? What do you think of this statement?
I can't read it, Norman. Sorry.
Ireland is not a country.
Well, I'm afraid it is. Who said that? He's
referring to Ireland and Northern Ireland.
Well, they play as one in sport, apart from football. The Ireland cricket team would be Northern and Southern Ireland.
Are they a Republic of Ireland?
The Republic of Ireland is a separate country to Northern Ireland, but they're on the same islands. They call it the Island of Islands, as you know. Normally, you've already been there, haven't you?
There's some questions here about Morgan should be playing for Ireland. That's another thing.
Well, it's arguable. Of course, he could, but he could. I think he could go back and play for Ireland. He's Irish, but as you know, Norman, the way it works is that if the countries aren't affiliated at the time as full test playing, they can come. We've had Scottish players and Welsh players and Irish players playing for England. Before Boyd Rankin played, if I remember, not that long ago, out in Oz in a test match. And Enda Joyce played for England. It's just the way it is. I mean, we are the United Kingdom in a way. Don't
forget the West Indies. The West Indies, they're not Barbados, whatever, Antigua.
They've got five places. Yeah. So, and you've got Tasmania, Norman, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Now, we're 2 for 121. They need 5 off 11 balls. This is a cakewalk.
By the way, if you're having that argument, Norman, South Africa and Namibia, I mean, it's all one continent. It's all the same place, isn't it?
I reckon if lucky for South Africa, they're not playing Namibia, I tell you.
Yeah. But I mean, it's only the next country higher up than South Africa. It's still on the same land. It's not separated by anything apart from a nominal border.
Okay, well, let's wait for it now. 5. Yeah. It's going to happen probably in one. I reckon they're going to do it. I reckon one of these two will hit 6.
How many? So Erasmus has nearly got 50, has he?
He's 53.
Yeah.
Of 49 balls. So his run rate's improved. Weiss has dropped to 184. Okay, there was a single there. I think Weiss did a single. It's 4 off 10.
I think I've seen Erasmus. Does he play in the Pakistan Super League as well? I think he plays around the world a little bit, doesn't he, Erasmus?
Well, he's going to be playing in the World Cup final and the Super Bowl now. The way,
Some of my favourite moments have been with the smaller sides in the World Cups over the years, Norman. Dwayne Levrock.
Yes, of course. From Bahamas.
Taking that catch.
Bermuda.
Oh, awesome. He was a policeman or a fireman or something. He was like 22 stones.
Awesome. Love it. I mean, it's a great thing. I love it.
Yeah, that's what cricket's all about, isn't it? You want to see.
I agree. You need to have the unexpected like that. It's true.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Okay. Still got 4 runs and 2 balls there. Yeah, I'm almost. The next match is not even worth talking about. Sri Lanka versus Netherlands. It's a almighty dead rubber.
I was going to say, Norman, I know Nilakshi's been a little bit unwell in recent times, and if she was back on.
She came back on the.
I missed it. Well, if she's watching today,
she actually looked really good. She actually looked. If she was not, I wouldn't say she was better, but she looked really refreshed.
Yeah, well, I'd like
so whatever.
I hope she's well and getting better. And happy birthday for, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I think it was her birthday.
Yeah.
So
we celebrated her birthday.
Yeah, that's great. The Highland, actually, if you're watching.
So they still need 4 off 10. There's a few blocks going on here, I think, which is unusual.
Have you got David Graveney coming on for the World Cup, World 2020? David?
Well, I've asked him today, and he didn't reply, but that's right. We have plenty of time when the big matches.
I think he's got his cap. Has he worn it?
Well, he hasn't worn it in front of me yet.
I know Chris went and saw him up in Canterbury.
No, they were both on air when that was discussed, actually.
Oh, were they? That's great. That's great.
So I'm just waiting for this. Steers Namibia towards the. Okay. I'm going to be quiet. No. Namibia have won by 8 wickets with 9 balls remaining.
Coast. Absolute coasted it. Well done to them. And I'm sure they're going to enjoy playing against India. Getting absolutely stuffed. But it's still a good thing for them to qualify.
That means Ireland are out. That's pretty
That's terrible for Ireland, especially with Scotland going through. That's
exactly. And not only Scotland going through, they won their group.
Strange that. Just goes to show, Norman, it's a game of form, isn't it? A couple of players hit form.
Well, I mean the fact is that
by a couple of players hitting form, couldn't it?
Well, I mean, you think anybody playing for Scotland should be playing for England, really?
Yeah, I mean, there has been in the past some good Scottish players. Mike Denness, a famous captain from the 1970s.
Oh, of course, I know him.
Was Scottish born, and recently, I can't remember. There was a guy. The name won't come. Played maybe 20 years ago.
So it's actually now confirmed that you'll have, as I said, before last thing I'll go with England, West Indies, South Africa, Australia, with Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. There's your 6, followed by another group with India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, New Zealand, Scotland, and Namibia. Nobody would have predicted that. Yeah,
I wish we had Scotland and Namibia in our group, Norman. That's for sure. I think
it would have been good, but I'm afraid you haven't.
Yeah.
So
no, the Aussies have got to play Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. They won't look forward to that.
Norman. I mean, India have already got 4 victories.
Yeah,
right in front of them.
Yeah, I think so.
I think India will go through undefeated. Right. Big matches tomorrow with Pakistan, but Sunday.
Have you got the whole fixture list up there? Have you got access to the? Tell me who the last round in England's group is in the last games. Who've everyone got?
Okay, let me have a look. Let's have a look. Okay.
I assume it'll be in a couple of weeks.
No, okay, so.
Just to upset, right. I say I've got a jacuzzi on my balcony here. Not a bad room when you get a jacuzzi.
Not bad. So India, who did I say was A2? Namibia, isn't it? Namibia.
Yeah.
So India played Namibia in the last game.
Yeah.
Pakistan plays Scotland. New Zealand play Afghanistan. England versus South Africa.
Right.
Australia versus West Indies. India versus Scotland. New Zealand play Namibia.
Australia versus West Indies. That could be Sri Lanka. An interesting game, Norman.
Which one?
In Australia West Indies in the last game. That could be a winner takes all into the semi-final.
No. Yeah, that would be Australia versus West Indies. England versus South Africa.
Yeah. Wow.
Realistically, by this stage, it won't be a play between England and South Africa for a spot. I'm pretty sure.
Do you know what it could come down to though? The 2 winners of those 2 matches nick the first and second spots. It could.
Well, Pakistan and India play. Pakistan. I think this was rather interesting. Pakistan plays Scotland, and they should smash them. And India will play Namibia in the last match.
Done and dusted. That group will be done and dusted before those games, Norman. I'm sure of it.
But I have a strong feeling that India and Pakistan are going to make that group.
I predict that the Australia-West Indies will not be a dead game. for the last game in that group. I think that will be an absolute storming game. I'll be cheering the West Indies on to the rafters on that.
Actually, qualifiers bring up a very good point here.
Yeah.
I think Sri Lanka may regret something they've done. They say he thought that Sri Lanka should be. No, this is actually for today because Sri Lanka is still playing, right?
Yeah.
The Sri Lanka should lose intentionally so they end up being in Group B and have a better chance. Actually, that's right.
Yeah. I would rather
actually,
that.
Sri Lanka haven't got a chance either way. Sri Lanka are not going to get through. In fact, Sri Lanka should stay in the group they're in because they won't beat India or Pakistan. Okay? But at least in the first group.
The England group. They want to stay in the England group, don't they?
Yeah, they want to be first. Yeah, actually, I agree. Maybe they want to stay right where they are. You're probably right.
The only way Sri Lanka have got a chance is on a slow, low pitch where their spinners come into the game against a side like Australia or England, who that's not really their game. Yeah, they'll want to be playing India and South Africa. They really will.
Yeah, I think Sri Lanka will be happy to be in the first group. Actually, you're right.
Yeah, I really do. Right, Norman, I've got to go. I'm really sorry.
All right. Thank you very much.
It's been great. I like the beard cut, Norman, and the hair. What's happened?
Oh, because I can go outside and get my hair cut. I've been to the barbers 2 weeks in a row. One to get rid of most of it and got rid of all of it today. So, $65 a pop each time to a barber.
Oh my God! God, I get my wife to cut mine. She puts a little pudding base around the head and sticks around the side. So she does it.
It was a partner's birthday 2 days ago as well.
I'm sure you and the partner celebrated in fine style. How old is she? Did you say?
25.
I don't believe a word of it. You shouldn't give a lady's age away, Norman. You know you're classier than that.
25. Nothing wrong with being told before. Nothing wrong with saying 25.
She's
okay. So Stella's having a hell of a game. Norman will do through this. Okay. All right. We'll see you. Are you going to be here tomorrow or not?
I will do my best, Norman.
Okay. All right.
Have a great day. Cheers, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, Buster boy.
Cheers, mate.
He has just come on from. He was in sunny Santorini in Greece. No cricket being played there, I don't think. But yes, Rev PMB 9. Yes, right, Ray. They won. Pakistan only so after 100 years. Also, do you remember championship? Yes, I know. That's okay. But that was a pretty impressive effort, I must say, guys. So yeah, we're in for the last match is effectively a dead rubber. So Ireland, amazing. They've been knocked out. No, they probably didn't. They're probably devastated at the moment. I know some people will be devastated. It's quite a toweling up, actually. And David Wheats is a player of the match. He batted and bowled very well. You know, very good performance there. Yeah, so that leaves the Sri Lankan Netherlands match, you would argue, would be a bit of an anticlimactic finish. So David Weiss, 28 from 14 balls, exactly a 200 strike rate, a 4 and 2 sixes. Gerhard Erasmus, 53 or 49 balls, 3 fours, 1 6. They have put on a partnership of, it was substantial, to say the least. Yes, they had a partnership of, it was 53 in the last 6 or so overs. Very impressive performance. So Craig Williams, 15, Zane Green, 24, Erasmus, captain, 53, with Weiss, 28. So Namibia are through. And Picky France played. Nicole Lofty-Eston, Ruben Trumpelman, Bernard Schultz, Michael van Langen, very, very Schmidt, Freilich, very German sounding names. Yeah, his pa, high pack. All right, so would love to see India in 2023 World Cup. That'll be the 50 over World Cup qualifier. It's in fact next year we've got the T20 World Cup again, but it's in Australia this time. Then at 23, we're over to England for the World Cup there, the 50 over format. So 3 years of World Cups coming up, guys. And we're just about done now. But look, back to the actual table. Let's get this table running now. Let's have a look at this. See if we've got this table sorted out. Points table. schedule. Let's have the points table. Yeah, so effectively that Sri Lanka, even if they lose, they're still going to go through it in the first swap. So that's not even a question. So we're going to go through both. Great to see Germany and Namibia playing cricket. Yeah, I think you're right. Namibia was actually a German colony. Southeast Germany or Southeast, what was it called? It had a term which was German. And it was Southeast, or I'm not sure what the term was. It was an interesting term. Okay, so looking fresh, Norman, thank you. I didn't even put my cap on. I've got my cap over here, which you can see over there. You can see my cap over there. It's there. But I'm not putting it on. Okay, so Group 1 is England, Australia. So let's go England, Australia, South Africa, West Indies, joined by Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Group 2, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, New Zealand, Namibia and Scotland. India will beat Namibia and Scotland. They'll beat New Zealand. They'll beat Afghanistan. Pakistan's one that'll be the most doubtful. So what Kapil Verma is asking me, what should be the Indian 11 for the game against Pakistan? Well, we're jumping ahead a bit. There's 2 games before that, of course. We've got the Sri Lanka Netherlands match coming up next, which should be it's another about half an hour away. I think it is. In fact, they've probably tossed, have they? They haven't tossed yet, which is a bit bizarre. Okay. It doesn't look like. Okay, there's no toss yet, but there should be a toss there. So Sri Lanka playing Netherlands now, which is a dead rubber. The Netherlands are out, Sri Lanka are first. Tomorrow, Australia starts in the true format of the World Cup. The Super 12 starts tomorrow. 6 teams in both groups. We've got Australia versus South Africa. Really, the loser of that is almost heading for a non-top 4 position. Australia versus South Africa, followed by the West Indies and England. And we did talk about England and West Indies being the top 2 sides, at least I did. Then the next day, Sri Lanka play Bangladesh, if everything goes to plan. Then the big one, India versus Pakistan. So there's 4 mega groups and 2 double headers on Saturday and Sunday. Again, Australia versus South Africa, followed by West Indies, England. Next day, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, followed by India, Pakistan. Yeah, so Shubman Kasinga is saying that the Group A, which is Group 1, they're calling it now, is going to be a very strong group. Yes, because Sri Lanka and Bangladesh should both join there. It's going to make it quite difficult. And we talked earlier, Sri Lanka maybe should have went in the other group, but no, in fact, they're probably beneficial going there because they will not beat India and probably not beat Pakistan. So, yeah, they'll have no hope of making that, but they've got more of a hope of getting into this group here. So we haven't seen a toss yet from the Sri Lankan Netherlands game, which has been played in Sharjah. So, yes, it's all very interesting what's happening here. So we'll repeat a few things. The other issue or important thing, the fifth test of the India-England test series that was postponed, cancelled, whatever it was, at that stage now being placed onto the 2022 season. 1st of July to the 5th of July, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 5 days in Edgbaston, not Old Trafford. So there's little doubt that they had a lot of talk about that, and they won over. They're going to play that match. Still no toss, Sri Lanka and Netherlands. But yeah, again, we'll talk more and more about this upcoming 4 matches. The fact that, really, Australia versus South Africa, at this point in time, so just saying Sri Lanka lose today and then who tops the table, will Sri Lanka fall into the group? No, they won't, because we know that Sri Lanka's for and against his net run rate is too high. Even if they lose, they still go through. They're first. Okay, there's no stopping India now. I would agree it's pretty close. Australia should not play Cummins. He bowls lots of bad ball. Well, Cummins has been discussed as not playing, actually. It's interesting you say that. Hazelwood in the IPL for CSK showed his wares. And obviously, with Pat Cummins been out of it for a while, Mitchell Starc is also unpredictable. And you'd have to look at Zampa and Agar will probably be included because of the conditions. Yeah, so there'll be a fifth test, 1st of July to the 5th of July, 2022, which is next year, and that will be at Edgbaston and not at Old Trafford. So that's the fifth test is all done. That's the South African tour going on to England at that time as well, but that match is still on. Okay. So as far as, well, we won't spend a lot of time on the match between Sri Lanka and Netherlands. Netherlands have got no hope on earth of being a team like Sri Lanka in the conditions that they have to face. It's only 25 minutes away. So, yeah, so the group stages are pretty. Can India go all the way? I think they can. They're certainly going to go to the final four. There's no doubt about that. They're certainly going to the final four. That's fait accompli as far as I'm concerned. Just to recap for those just joining us, Ireland were 8 for 125 after their 20 overs, and Namibia 2 for 126. They a canter with 9 balls to spare. They knocked it off, and David Weiss and Erasmus together had a decent 50 partnership across the line without losing their second any more than 2 wickets. So any reserve days of match gets abandoned. Well, that doesn't look like that's going to change at all. So, okay, so all right, let's just see whether the T20 schedule has been updated, but I do know what's going to happen. I mean, we still have this match between Sri Lanka and Netherlands, but we can't be concerned about it because even if Sri Lanka lose badly, which they're not going to do against Netherlands, they would still be going through as top team. So we had a match recently, Bangladesh. Okay. Fixtures. Just quickly, I'll go through them. I've just said to you before, Sri Lanka plays South Africa. This is in Abu Dhabi, and on the same night, Dubai will host England versus the West Indies. So Australia, South Africa, and Abu Dhabi, England versus West Indies in Dubai, and that'll be quite a sizable night. Australia versus South Africa without du Plessis. Faf du Plessis is not playing at all. AB de Villiers is not there. Bavuma, captain, I'm not sure. De Kock's been out of form. Norgay has been in good form. Rabada in not bad form. So their bowling is quite strong, the batting is not. You would argue that Australia probably will win that match, but it's hard to say, but you would argue that Australia should win it. But that's going to be interesting. The loser of that match, to me, can already kiss the top 4 or top 2 goodbye. England versus West Indies, that's a particularly strong match because of the fact that both teams England has done well in the warm-up matches, West Indies not so well. England in Dubai have had experience and would probably be favoured to win that. So that's Australia and England both going through with quick victories. West Indies, South Africa not. But I think West Indies are still in with a shout to win the whole thing. Australia will lose only because of poor captaincy and just poor team morale, I reckon. Okay, then match 15, which is starting the day, which is Sunday. The first match is between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. So Sri Lanka are playing very shortly, and they'll be back on deck within a day and a half against Bangladesh, which could actually hamper them a little. There's no proper number 3 batsman. Terence Aldridge right. There is no proper number 3 batsman. They put bloody Mitchell Marsh in there, and even though he's batted okay up the order, he's not an upper order batsman. He should be lower order, middle order. Shouldn't be opening off number 3. And he should certainly not be in that position. So he got out first ball against India. He's not looking good. I bet you he doesn't do well. Okay, so that's Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh. I'm kind of predicting Bangladesh for that match. I don't know why, but I'm thinking Bangladesh. Then we come to match 16 on Sunday evening. Oh boy, India versus Pakistan. Now that's going to be an absolute swashbuckler. India are absolutely the favourites. Pakistan will struggle to beat India, but with all due respect, it's going to be a close game. just purely, if nothing else, for the rivalry. So we're not getting any information about the toss there. Okay. Then the day after that India-Pakistan match, will take a lot out of both sides. India winning, it'll be very close. Then we have Afghanistan versus Scotland, and really, by all accounts, Afghanistan will win that match. Then South Africa play the West Indies. Now, that's a crucial match, in my opinion, especially if those two teams lose. Australia wins over South Africa and England wins over West Indies. That match becomes crucial because if South Africa lose or West Indies lose, that's it for them. That meant they would have had 2 losses in a row, and they won't have much of a hope getting up from that position. Then Pakistan play New Zealand, which is a significant match for both those teams. It'll be the first those 2 teams play. Then England play Bangladesh. You think England will win that. Scotland will then play a 2, which is in fact Namibia. Interesting match. Then Australia will play Sri Lanka. West Indies, Bangladesh. So West Indies will be favoured to win that. Pakistan, Afghanistan. Pakistan will win that. South Africa play Sri Lanka. That's a very difficult. I can't see South Africa going well. Australia plays England. That's a big match. A very big match. England should be rightfully in favour. Then Afghanistan play Namibia. Namibia got a couple of easy matches there. India play New Zealand. India should win that in the counter. England will play Sri Lanka. Difficult match to pick. South Africa, Bangladesh. No, Bangladesh will give South Africa a hard time. Pakistan then play Namibia. New Zealand play Scotland. Goes on from there, and then it's going to be very, very interesting how that pans out. There's quite a few interesting matches. But India get to play Namibia in the last match. Pakistan play Scotland. So, okay, Sri Lanka have won the toss and have chosen to bowl. So there we go. And that means they're going to make light work of the Netherlands and then finish the match and go home. That's it. So Sri Lanka, they've been pretty comfortable in their group. Win the toss and elect to bowl. They don't elect to field, they elect to bowl. I get really annoyed, as you all know, when someone says elect to field. Nobody elects to field, they elect to bowl. Just 2 matches from then, and they might be. So that's I'm going to win the toss and elect to bowl. Okay. All right, so we're not seeing any teams selected yet. Yeah, you think Sri Lanka will go with full strong. So, yeah, that's a very interesting state of affairs. So, just get India through the semi-final. India, I don't want to be overly confident, though, but India should be the first one through the semi-finals. I think so should England, and so should the West Indies, with the 4th team probably being Pakistan. That's my prediction. Australia and South Africa, realistically, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh have more hope. Wade or English should be playing. Sagar, I think English should be playing. Definitely. And you may even see Wade stay in, but English come in for Warner. That wouldn't exactly shock me. 1 change to Sri Lanka, 1 expected line. Charik Asalaka for the Chandimal, 3 changes to Netherlands, and the big one is Ryan Ten Dotchleit is missing out. We'll have the so yeah, so it's yeah, looks like Netherlands are just about shut up shop there. Sri Lanka should win easily. They're probably going to get them out very cheaply and have a fairly well, how would you say? It should be an early finish for Sri Lanka and go home. Not spend too much time playing, because really they're in the gun seat. Really, Sri Lanka. What do you have to say about New Zealand? They're not like sharp hard. Okay, New Zealand have got great individual players, and they haven't got a bad team either, especially in other conditions. But these conditions, they're going to struggle. Although a lot of their players did play well in the IPL, so I would like to see New Zealand go through, but Pakistan's knowledge of these grounds is paramount, as is India's. Yeah, so again, England, West Indies one group, India and Pakistan the other, with maybe New Zealand featuring. That's what I would see. That's what I'm going to stick to. I don't think there's much of a need for change there to that scenario at all. So yeah, that's my first thoughts on this whole thing. But yeah, look, we really can never be certain of anything in this game. It's something of a always a bit of a mystery what actually happens. As we all know, you just never can confirm what goes on in T20 format. Australia haven't won a T20 format, so you'd have to wonder: is it their time? No, it's not. A lot of people are in fact realising India and Pakistan should both go through. That's a pretty impressive discussion. They both should go through. I think they should too. Dasun Shanaka, who is the captain of Sri Lanka. In the next group stage, we've got 3 games here, so we want to be able to chase. One change, Charit Asalanka comes in for domestic trouble. We need to be consistent this time. Excuse the report. So they're staying on this ground where they are now, which is in fact it is Sharjah. Peter Selar, captain of Netherlands. It's all good. Wasn't quite sure what to do. Now we need to put runs on the board. Okay, so bit of a strange thing to be saying. Yeah, so Namibia, they certainly have shown a lot of promise. Ireland, I expected better from them, to be honest, and they've been disappointing. Absolutely disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Mohamed Hafiz Malik played never World Cup. Brazil, Hassan, you just can't say that. You just don't. You can't say that. You just don't know. Anything's possible. Anything's possible in this tournament. Okay, well, waiting on these Sri Lankans side, not that I'm heavily bent on that. We've got to go back to the reality that we have a situation where, again, let's go through the groups. Let's repeat it for people that may not hear this. Group 1, A and B is what they talked about with the qualifiers. Group 1 is England, West Indies, Australia, South Africa, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Pretty strong group. Then you've got in group 2, India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, New Zealand, with then the inclusion of Scotland and Namibia. Both teams that probably did not, or in particular Namibia probably didn't think they had a chance of getting through. They've just done. So very, very impressive indeed. You've got to take your hat off to them for that. Certainly, it's been a very impressive effort. So let's have a look here. Okay. You would have to say that Sri Lanka should absolutely pulverise Netherlands this evening, and you're looking at a pretty average game, to be honest. Why have they put him in the squad? Experience, Mohamed Hafiz. Well, his experience is enormous, and he doesn't have to. His bowling, he doesn't do much fielding. He's certainly, and he can bat a bit too. I think it's a good selection. But whatever Pakistan does, they usually do well. So let's judge it when we see them in that post match, and that's all we can really go by at this point. But Pakistan are the dark horse. I mean, they've got Harris Ralph, who I've got a lot of time for. Yeah, Netherlands giving up. Dasun Shanaka. See, I would have liked to have seen Rosh and Dick Weller there, Kaushal Pereira, Kaushal Mendes. They would have had some good players, but this stupid banning, which was way, way too hard, sees them not see them in this World Cup. But they'll be there for next year's World Cup, so there's a great ray of hope there. Well, I'm assuming the next year they'll be ready to go, so they should be in the side. And the next one's in Australia. It does give Australia more of a hope, but I wouldn't say deservedly so. Okay. People are saying India is the favourite this year, but I think New Zealand has better chance of winning the tournament. Rajat Bhargava, pardon my ignorance, but is Virat still the captain of the team? Yes, he is for this tour. Then he relinquishes at the end of the T20 tournament. Same with Shastri, also relinquishes his coaching role. Yeah, Virat certainly is. Okay. So Rajat, you're saying New Zealand are favourites. Well, New Zealand just got tailed up by England in one of the warm-up matches, and I think that's pretty indicative. Australia got smacked by India. I would argue that that's pretty good form to what you'll see. So India and England are specials. They've had a lot of experience, especially of late, and you would have to argue that, you know, without too much of a shock, I can't see anyone beating those two teams. And I still predict West Indies. Still predict West Indies to be out there. The unpredictability, you can never, ever say that they're not a chance. Can you? Bit hard to get excited about Netherlands, I'm afraid. Netherlands very poor. Yeah, so Sri Lanka have Pathum Nasanka, Kalsul Pereira, who's the keeper and who's a good player. Asalanka, Avishka Fernando, Banuka Rajapaksa, Shanaka, Karina Ratna, the bowler, Hasaranga, who certainly had a lot of rays in the IPL, but didn't quite have a chance to show it. Shamira, fast bowler, Thekshana, and Lahira Kamara, also a fast bowler. So they obviously got some good things happening there in the Sri Lanka. So a lot of unknowns, though, a lot of unknown players, but coming through quite nicely. Although they won't go any further. Malik, weak point fast. Are you talking about Pakistan? Are you? Or is it? Okay. Australia should use Maxi at 8th. I think they yeah, spin has a crucial role to play now. Kasinka, you're right. The spin bowlers are going to play a very crucial role for all sides. And New Zealand and Australia are probably the weakest of that. India are up top with Pakistan and maybe Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Whether those the last two feature will be interesting now that they're not in the group. Wouldn't it be a bit of a shock if Sri Lanka and Bangladesh go through? Well, not necessarily fully, but you know. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be. So Namibia. Into the Super 12s now. The way that Namibia played, the way that Scotland have played, and even Oman and New Guinea both were very commendable. Very, very commendable were they? They certainly were. They were very commendable indeed. So a lot of time for those two. Pakistan group is very easy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any questions, guys? Because we've got. Okay, I'm going to repeat again. India versus England. 5th test is next year from the 1st of July until the 5th of July, 2022 at the Edgbaston ground. Previously it was at Old Trafford. Now it's been moved to next year, 10 months later or thereabouts, to 1st of July, the 5th of July. That's a big thing. The other major thing is that Namibia have beaten Ireland and they're through to the last Super 12. And both Namibia and Scotland are going to Group 2. And in Group 2 are, as I repeat again, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and New Zealand are joined by Namibia and, of course, Scotland. Group 1 has a much more of a solid group with, of course, England, West Indies, Australia, South Africa, now joined by Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. And that probably wasn't, it probably would have been an expectation that Sri Lanka and Bangladesh led their group, but Scotland knocked Bangladesh off for that time. And Sri Lanka kept theirs, will keep theirs, but yeah, it's going to be a bit of a A bit of a struggle, that group one. India will again reach the final of the Test Championship of 2023. The way they're going, it is beautiful drawings right now. Maybe it's a big surprise. I'm very disappointed. It is very disappointing. They probably were worthy of a better placement. So, yeah, that's it. We've got 5 minutes to the time. Starts with Sri Lanka versus Netherlands. And Sri Lanka bowling first. They should take a truckload of wickets, and you would think win that match quickly so they can go to rest. It's getting late for me too, guys. Championship. Okay, I do get that. So at this point in time, and thanks to those that are subscribing, subscriberships have gone up. It's becoming more and more. So 5 minutes before the start, Sri Lanka to go out and field, as in bowl. Netherlands to go out and bat. Beautiful drawings. As I said, Australia should at least reach the semis. They have a good team. Well, I'm not so convinced. Because with England there, that means England will probably go through. So there's only one position available. And the West and East, if they can play better than they have, should be a chance. Will Australia drop Warner in the first match looking at his form? Well, Kunal, and they should. They probably won't. But if he fails in the first couple of matches, they'll be angling for Inglis to come in. Josh Inglis, who probably should be ahead of Matthew Wade, as a matter of fact, is the difference. With Inglis in there, with Maxwell playing well, with Smith batting quite admirably, and even Stoinis, it's a good side. But with Wade inside, it's not good. Okay, and not having Inglis in the side is a mistake. They'll realise that pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure. Okay, you watch. The computer's just frozen. England have a very poor bowling without the absence of Jofra. Shubman Singh saying he's subscribed in January. That's great. I'm glad you're still here. That's good. England have a very poor bowling one. They don't have a very bad poor bowling. What do you mean? They've got some great bowlers in that lineup. What are you talking about? Adil Rashid is a great spin bowler. So is Moeen Ali bowled very well, and that's going to be some key players. Wokes looks good. So don't discount them at all. Ross Taylor being PNG batting coach was surprising to say the least. But PNG did pretty well, right? Ross Taylor was, pretty good actually for them, to be honest with you. What do you think about the India versus Pakistan match on the 24th of October? Asks Niktosh Thakur. Look, on paper, India should win and win pretty well. But the unpredictability of Pakistan is where the problem starts and finishes. We don't really know how they're going to go, but they look like they've got a lot more going for them than you would imagine. I would say India will do well. Bowling-wise, certainly, but batting-wise, probably more similar. Rohit Sharma, Rahul are in great form, and Ishan Kishan is in good form. Shreyas Iyer, Sky Kumar, I think was the person we saw batting. Not Shreyas Iyer, he was pretty solid too. Hardly hit a few towards the end, but they got Thakur, they got Jadeja and Ashwin, they've got Bhuvi, you've got Sharma, you've got Bumrah. Oh my God, they've got a plethora of great players. They've held Bumrah back a little bit, haven't they, really? I don't know one will play very important roles controlling the pitch. I agree. Very much agree. I think they still will be very significant. Don't discount the onside with Butler, Bairstow, Roy, Owen Morgan's captaincy, maybe not his batting, but his captaincy. Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's good there. I see Van der Dusen is an X factor. He can't do it on his own. Quinton de Kock's out of form. No Faf du Plessis. Faf du Plessis was there, and they had A.B. de Villiers there. Now you're talking. The bowling side's pretty good, but you're talking pretty well. If you've got A.B. de Villiers and du Plessis on that side, then you're talking. But those two are not there. And Tahir and his spin bowling. Shamsi's there. South Africa will do okay, but they've got a tough start. They've got to play Australia, and really the loser of that is almost certainly out. So we're about to begin the match now between Sri Lanka and Netherlands, probably the most lopsided match of the tournament, the qualifiers. Sagar says there should be something for bowlers in the pitch, especially with lots of dew, and then going to chase and tells it easy for teams. Yeah, well, the dew will actually favour batting more than bowling. Interestingly enough. Well, I'm just trying to work out what's going on here. Let's see what the Foxtel report says. They should be out there on the field now. This is effectively the last match of the qualifier stage. Sri Lanka are doing their national anthems. No more, no more. I think there's the captain there. Pretty, how quick legends is here. Untitled is here as well. You're saying that Pakistan is good at batting depth. They do. Quick legends, what are your thoughts? Quick legends, you would have heard that the India versus England match is actually now, the 5th test is next year, 1st of July to the 5th of July, 2022, in Edgbaston, not in Old Trafford. Big change there. Smith is not too bad for 29. He's pretty ordinary, beautiful drawings. Sorry. It's almost winter time in the Northern Hemisphere, so very good chances of dew. Where are you? Are you telling us that you're in Europe? Viral entertainment. My God, you're from the good old Nepal, aren't you? Any of those Pakistan cricket legends, really about the 5th test? Yes, it's just been announced about an hour ago. And obviously, with Namibia getting through, Namibia and both Namibia and Scotland joined the group 2, which is India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and New Zealand. And in the other group, we have, of course, both Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are joining a very tough 4 of South Africa, England, and West Indies. People are underrating West Indies. I still think they're a good chance, and the people even underrating England, they've got a good chance. There's already same dew here, Chennai. Yeah, there'll be a bit of dew there. Sure, that's going to favour the batting side, batting second, actually, which is, of course, Sri Lanka. And Netherlands will get a score of around maybe 100, and Sri Lanka will do it in 15 overs. That's my prediction. England always has a packed home schedule. Why doesn't Australia? Good question, beautiful drawings. Australia are bloody lazy there. Too busy going overseas, making money wherever they should go. Carlson Pereira, I can see, is there. Good player that he is. Should have Carlson Mendes and Nick Ross and Dickwell there as well, but he hasn't. Game's about to start. You wouldn't give Netherlands a hope, I'm afraid. Tim Zura was the coach at one stage. They had Ryan Campbell, I think, as well, more recently. Yeah, used to be a bit of a powerhouse, actually, but they're not anymore. Okay. Don't underestimate Australians. Their bowlers 8, 9, 10 can smash sixes. Yeah, I'm not underestimating. I just don't think they've got any form there. England's okay. Australia really need to rethink their batting order. Absolutely. Cricket legends, Warner's got to be considered. Mitch Marsh shouldn't be first shot. They lost 3 wickets against India pretty badly. Which team has a higher chance of winning Ashes coming up? Australia? Well, at this early stage, you would say Australia because it's on the home surface, but only just. But it's going to have, they should be selecting Khawaja in the squad now. Curtis Pattinson deserves a go. Of course, we're going to wait and see what happens with Pukoski and his injuries. So Charmika, Karunaratne bowling. has played 9 matches with 4 wickets. Not great stats for a bowler, only take 4 wickets, I can tell you. He's coming in the bowl. Oh, and he went straight through the batter. Literally bowled him. I don't know what happened there. And it's a bye. It's clean through the batsman. We'll Stokes play the Ashes. There's a bit of talk about the possibility, but at this point, he's not on the squad. So that's unlikely. This ball swung a mile and beat the bat and actually came off. It looked like it came off the bat, actually. May have neglected the pad. This Sri Lankan side is a bunch of no-names. My God. Really. Very few notable players in that group. I think Australia's batting like, it's deep. Well, they can't. The first 3 aren't getting runs. So, yeah. England isn't in a one-trick pony. They will fare well without Stokes and Archer. I agree. England have got a very good chance. I wonder if our no-face, no-name person's actually Chris Vernon. Very, very England-centric in his comments. India are the hot favourites. Do you agree with Michael Vaughan? Absolutely, Cricket Legends. It can only say that. That should be. Okay, so Saga Hazelwood, better new ball bowler than Kane Richardson. I'd agree. Better bowler at the depth at the moment. Go with Hazelwood. If he gets early wickets and PP opposition will be finished. Those who play spinners well being on top are going to be a face. Yeah, I think you're right. India and Pakistan. I hate England with a passion. You hate English with a passion. Okay, where are you from? France then? So Namibia did hold their nerve to script history in Sharjah. They've gotten through to the last 12, which is a big, big effort. Indian matches: Pakistan, New Zealand, Afghanistan, Scotland, and Namibia. It's a bit of a cakewalk for India. India are certainties to make the semis, I would argue. They got a big first match though. Maybe get through that hurdle, which could well be the opposition that'll go through. Or was he out? Yeah, he's out. Alim Dar is the review umpire. We've got a dismissal there as a run out very early on. They've got comparatively weaker group. Definitely, it's distinctly weaker. Yes, maybe a matter. Of course, they made it. They and Scotland are through Group 2. Coley is pure garbage against spinners. Bit of truth. England, you're pretty tough on him always, aren't you? Only New Zealand is comparatively good. Well, who is the most overrated and underrated cricketer of all time? Underrated cricketer. There's a few. Andrew Simons would be underrated. Overrated would be James Anderson. I said it there. India team without Kohli is stronger. Virat Marani, who should be online here because I'm going to be stopping soon. That's a nice looking. Okay. So, yes, today's match, Namibia won against Ireland and came in India. Of course, you will pay with Varun, Kakori, or Ashwin. Yeah. Sehwag's underrated. He was pretty overrated. I think he deserved it. So Cooper is in for the Netherlands. He's an Aussie, isn't he? Pretty sure he's an Aussie. Is that Tom Cooper or Tim Cooper? Tall better. Oh, it's wayward. I don't think that much of the Sri Lankan bowling or batting. They've had a pretty good run, but they're not going to go that far. Shigadama is underrated. Absolutely. Yep. This 5th test has been a joke. Yes, you're right. Gautam Gambhir was underrated, perhaps. You can't say they're underrated if they're playing for the country. Ben Cooper, sorry. Ugh. Myberg had a pretty good lofted shot over mid-off there. Nederlander. To show how money talks knows things. What? Coley needs to focus on batting rather than playing benevolent god of the field. Yeah, okay. Pray he doesn't give Paxton an easy pass. No, I agree. Michael Irvin was underrated and Lawrence glanced clear. Yeah, fair enough. Can Virat hit sixes against the spinner? No improvisation, nothing, only singles and dots. Well, that's not bad, though. Virat is not going to make the mistake this time around. I think we're going to see the best of him. His RCB side hasn't won, yes, I'll give you that. That was extremely disappointing finish for him. No doubt. Garth Gumby is a former cricketer of a team. Okay, yeah, I think he's got, in my opinion, Aaron Morgan is highly overrated. Quick Legends, very good point. What mistake, sure. Quick Legends, I think Morgan is a little bit overrated. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. He seems to have won very well under him, though, so he got even credit for that. Graham Swan was English greatest test bowler. He certainly was a good spinner. You're right. Virat needs to hit the sixes. He needs to be getting dominant score lines, that's for sure. So the weather in UAE certainly looks not as hot as quite pleasant. Virat is a legendary player. Morgan, Milan equals Rowan Virat against spinners. Nah. Dushmantha Chamira, who's a decent fast bowler. Let's see how he goes. Virat uses his mind and plays those shots when needed. Yes, but he's not the hardest of it, but he's got that skills on. He has. Virat is a kind of arrogant batsman with his technique, especially with sweep shots. He doesn't play. Well, look, he knows his weaknesses. You can't knock him. His record is amazing. Most runs in T20 cricket, don't forget. Can't beat that. Well, pace bowling still works. They're bowling well here at the moment. He's got a pretty good line there. Virat versus his record speaks it all. Yes, it does. Virat is versus spinners is the weakest link in his line. Yeah, but Jesus, they've got a lot of other players who can do very well. Don't worry. Virat has most runs in T20 cricket. Correction, Monstrosity. Whereas upon a long time no see or hear, she has had some. She's looking for jobs, and she was her birthday a couple of days ago. But as you know, she was on for a while, wasn't she? For her thing. She's only been a couple of days away. Virat is an arrogant batsman, arrogant but a sensible batsman. Rishabh Pant, on the other hand, is an arrogant batsman. Remember his scoop against Anderson. Cocky is the word I would use. So Kamara and Shabira have been the fastest bowlers in the tournament. Tuskin obviously from Bangladesh, Little who bowled for Ireland. So Sri Lanka don't mind using a bit of post bowling. Okay. Some stand-up comedy now. She's not doing stand-up comedy. Yeah, you are right. No name, sir. But I'm missing his girlfriend at the par. I think that's right. Well, Netherlands are 1 for 8 after 1.5 overs. Steady, but nothing to get too excited about at this point. Again, the ball's beaten both the bat and the keeper and gone for full. The most ones have come through missed keeping it. I'm going to speak with respect here. I have better top taste laugh. All right, we get off that topic, please, guys. Get on with the topic of the game. Obviously, that was an inside edge, clear inside edge. So Sri Lanka will beat Netherlands. Sri Lanka will go through. Sri Lanka and Bangladesh will be in Group 2. Group 1, yet again, I'll repeat, Group 1 is England, West Indies, Australia, South Africa, then Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. I don't think Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, no. South Africa, no. Australia, I believe, no. It leaves England versus the West Indies as long as West Indies play to their potential. Hazel will be gold in these conditions, maybe. All of us just went gaga over Morgan when he led his side to the World Cup victory. Captaincy was captain, depends on external sources all the time, yeah. India has an easy group, definitely comparatively. Pinay, not Pinoy. Okay. Jesus, Brian, exactly. Oh, you're unsure. What are you guys oohing and ahhing about? What's your prediction for tomorrow night? You mean, well, Australia will beat South Africa, but it'll be just. Although South Africa beat Australia too, to be honest with you. Then England will beat the West Indies. Then, of course, India will beat Pakistan, and Sri Lanka will, well, I'm going to say Bangladesh will beat Sri Lanka. That's what I'm predicting. Sri Lanka, look at it. I mean, they're doing okay, but West Indies will beat England, you reckon, some months from okay? But you better wish that the partner don't need that comment you deleted. Yes. I would agree with that. Be careful. So will be all over South Africa. Oh, who knows? Well, they're both very underwhelming teams, both Australia and South Africa, as far as I'm concerned. 1 for 17 off 2. All right, guys, we've got a big day tomorrow, the next day. So India. Do not fret, people. I've already taken a screenshot of Baram's comments. Oh, good. We'll be over South Africa. Okay. Who we got here? Thekshana coming on. We'll see what he's an off-spin bowler. Let's have a look at him. He's 21 years of age, quite young. In fact, if I'm being honest, Mahesh Thekshwana, that's my first time seeing him. Fairly sort of Axar Patel-like in the bowling, in terms of just up and down. Fifth test in Edgbaston, I said that. I reckon Southern will just get over the line tomorrow. Well, in all fairness, I think you've got a point there. I'm wavering between the two, but maybe I'm thinking Australia because Australia normally beats South Africa and these sorts of tournaments. Winifred Durasane from Malaysia says, commented my hair on Instagram. Yeah, it's a so Mahesh Thekshana can bowl and play a good records, left-handers, and very economical. He's 21. He's very young. Long way to go before he can be classified as a good bowler. But so shall you reap? Oops, with taking a wicket there pretty quickly. Thekshana's just taken his bowled what looks like Cooper, Ben Cooper. Let's have a look what happened there. He's looking very disappointed. Ivil's going to set to be allowed for retentions. Okay, interesting. Ben Stokes will be back for the fifth test changes. Could well be. I missed that. I didn't see that. What's that vessel? Just on trying to see the dismissal. Mayhem, absolutely. There's a question about him. Group 1 will be mayhem. It'll be mayhem, all right. It'll be a very difficult group for anyone to do well in. But I think England will get through that because they've been the weight of their experience of late. I think the West Indies, yeah. Bumrah's name is in Grey Cricket's channel. Okay. Chimera. I don't see Chimera in bowl, so. We saw that. Let's have a look here. I think we said, was it Chimera who bowled him? Not sure. No, it's not Chimera. What's the next over? So, Kane Williamson's up to date normal about his injury. Well, at this point in time, there's nothing stopping Kane Williamson playing. He may well be carrying out a small injury, but I think you'll see him play. Sri Lanka and on Sharjah pitches a nightmare for with their spinners. So they're playing a few games in Sri Lanka. Could be a little bit interesting. Could be a little bit interesting indeed. Sri Lanka have the best spinners. Well, I would argue India still have. Come on. You can't say that Sri Lanka are the best. I pre-stored sacks of potato and banana chips to sit through this tournament. Sacks of potato and banana chips. Okay. Virat will lose captaincy of ODI as well. Okay. I think that was always on the cards. His Test cricketing captaincy has been fantastic, so that touched that. I wish Kane misses India Test series, as in Kane Williamson. Well, if he does, India will slaughter them. There are 2 there. Why, Burham? Explain me why. Why, Burham? I think he's right, though. This text channel does look like insider's news. What do you mean, Burham? What insider's news have you got? One of your newspapers that you follow? So Cooper, Virat's joining politics to confirm next Indian Prime Minister. I don't think. Prime Minister or Minister. Virat acted over smart and BCI did not like that. Okay. Because most teams adopting T20 mindset and ODI players like Rahane should be so away. It looked like a pretty good wicket that took. It was Virat's tweet, wasn't it? I don't think that's going to affect anything, to be honest. Okay, so it's spun and straight through. Sri Lanka's going to have an early night, I think. They're 3 of 20 or 3. So in India, ministers act like sinisters. So we well said, okay. No, when he said Rohit should not be vice captain. Look, that's a sign of a little bit of discretion that's not needed. It won't be up to Kohli who decides the next captain. Alone anyway. It'll probably be row, you would think. At least to start with, it will be. 67, 240, 52. Mystery spin is like a little flick. Very poor shot. All right, guys, we might end up here. Bukowski update. Bukowski update is that he had his upteenth amount of concussion, but he's a lot better and he's playing, he's feeling, so he should be right again fairly soon. But I think Khawaja is going to come into play. If the man who never won an IPL or international trophy has opinions on the audacity. Wow. So they can groom a young one. Well, perhaps. Do watch. I'll move everyone underrated. What are you talking about, Anush Engel? All right, we've got Kamara bowling now. And that's a good shot there from Ackerman. Massive six, actually. It's quite a powerful shot. Smacked it beautifully timed. Well played. Bukowski should take a new career option. He's getting so many signs, but doesn't. I understand. True. Old is my name. Old is movie's name. Okay. India Pakistan final. Well, that'll be great if it happens. Leave the grooming to Dhoni. He already would have picked his successor. Oh, interesting. I wouldn't go that far. Very disappointing match, this one. 326. It's such a fizzer. I'm conscious tomorrow's going to be a big day. In fact, this weekend's going to be very, very big indeed. So we're going to need to get a bit of nine-eye, as in sleep. True, people need to take concussion seriously. They are. That's why he's been looked at. Plus, what the hell is he doing? He's batting, getting hit all the time. I don't quite understand that at all. All right, guys, 2 more minutes, and I'm going to leave this match because Sri Lanka's going to win. We know that. Netherlands have no hope. Sri Lanka will top the group. So, again, the news is England and India play their 5th test in Edgbaston next year, the 1st of July, the 5th of July. Not at Old Trafford, but Edgbaston. So that test series is 2-1 up India's way, and, well, you'd hope go 3-1 up. Jofra Archer, Ben Stokes could be ready by then. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? So go back to that. So then the group stages, we've got all the qualifiers done and the warm-ups. Sri Lanka, Scotland have topped their 2 pools with Bangladesh and Namibia. Namibia beating Ireland today. So the reality is that you have Group 1, Australia, South Africa, England, West Indies, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Very strong 6. And the other 6 is India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, New Zealand, now joined by Scotland and Namibia. Drinking alcohol, beer, whiskey, vodka, alcohol, mukbang. Okay, all right, that's it, guys. I'm going to be calling it quits there. It's just gone on time, so don't forget to view, like, and share the posts. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit notification button. At Norm Koch, of course, is the Instagram and Twitter. And I have a so-called LinkedIn and Norman Kochek and a Facebook. Norman will be the first guest, cricket with beer. Okay. Thank you, Baram. How about Angel's City Street Walk channel? Angels. Okay. Bye-bye, Norman. Lots of love. All right, see you guys tomorrow. We've got Coding Shiksha has just joined us. New Zealand Black Caps will defeat India and Pakistan and top the 2nd group. Ooh, big call. Big call. Let's see if you're right. Let's see if you're right. I'm afraid I'm doubting that, but Coding Shiksha, we'll wait and see whether you're right. Somewhat doubtful. All right, guys. We'll see each other tomorrow. I've got to go 30 more seconds, and then we'll go 2 hours altogether. So again, view, like, and share if you come on. when these Aussie, India, New Zealand, I think India, Aussies, no, will go through. Okay, I don't think so. I think meow. What's Angel? Yeah. Australia's not going through. New Zealand's not going through. Pakistan's going through, and England. Bye. All right, guys. All the best. We've got 10 seconds to go. We're going. So let's count at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. See you tomorrow, guys.